Hello guys, and yesterday Russia experienced a great loss. They don't care about people, but they do care about their ammunition. And in Toropets of Tver region, a huge and what they described as modern military ammunition depot was destroyed with inexpensive Ukrainian drones. The detonation continued for hours, 15 earthquakes were fixed, and probably 30,000 tons of explosives exploded, but just in a couple of hours. So let's have a look at the situation after the smoke has set down and why it is so important to neutralize more of Russian arsenals if we want to live on a safer planet. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with our country and to see Russia defeated. And this is happening, guys, despite all the ignorance, despite all the prognosis, despite all the doubts, and despite all the restrictions that so many people put on Ukraine. You know, I've been collecting the information about this ammunition depot and also watching lots of videos of this ordinary Russians reacting to these huge explosions that are actually not reported on Russian television. This is very Russian to pretend nothing is happening, even if it is the destruction of the huge ammunition depot or a Chernobyl catastrophe, for example. So, one of the first phrases that the majority of the interviewed from Toropets said was actually insane. They were saying, war has started. War has started for Russians yesterday, when in reality this war started in 2014 with the illegal annexation of Crimea, Donbas region, and in 2022 with this full-scale invasion of many different parts of Ukraine and constant attacks on our civilian objects. Can you imagine that? Only now, only when they hear these destructions and explosions on their military objects, because we choose legitimate targets, they speak about war. So, according to preliminary estimates, 30,000 different explosives were destroyed in Toropets, and these are guided bombs. These are missiles for systems like .O, S-300, S-400, Grad systems, Iskander systems, and even North Korean missiles. Putin did not use Kim Jong-un's missiles properly and did not manage to hide them from inexpensive Ukrainian drones. In 2018, when Russians opened this arsenal, they boasted it's super modern, it has lots of bunkers, 100 ponds for firefighters in case of emergency. Yesterday, this case of emergency happened, but these ponds did not help. This is beautiful. You know, I've read lots of comments below the photos and videos from Toropets, these huge fires, this smoke, and many people were actually frightened what happened because the size of that explosion, the fire, the diameter of the fire was more than 6 kilometers, and that's alarming. That's alarming what Russians store close to the front lines and how many evil instruments they were prepared to use against Ukrainian children, Ukrainian women, Ukrainian hospitals, and Ukrainian schools. So this is super important to demilitarize them and to destroy their ammunition potential. And that's what we are doing. Once again, most likely these are Ukrainian drones working, and I'm very grateful that in our community we actually contribute to the drone, I wanted to say effort, but it's more like a drone army. Thank you for that. And maybe this was the Ukrainian drone Luty. I've read some comments where some people think this might have been Palynica, the first ever drone missile constructed in Ukraine. President Zelensky announced its creation on the Day of Independence of Ukraine. We'll see, but what we definitely understand, Ukraine needs more self-produced missiles so that we will not need to ask for permission. Subscribe to see Russia defeated. Subscribe to see more of Russian arsenals exploding. That is a beautiful and very promising image. Actually, Russia does not have that many arsenals the size of Toropets, maybe 4, maybe 5, some claim 10, but anyway, this is a huge loss that they experienced yesterday and many more to come. Russians are crazy, they don't care about people, they care about weapons, so they felt really bad and they started speaking about the start of the war. Oh my God. Also, what is interesting, more and more Russians are dissatisfied with the work of the air defense, and they say not enough air defense systems around airfields, around oil refineries, and around ammunition depots. But I'm sorry, you moved all of them to the front lines, to the occupied territories of Ukraine, and also your dictator Putin has too many bunkers, and each of these bunkers is protected more than perhaps the White House in the United States. So of course, Russian air defense is not working, and Russian air defense is not caring about ordinary people, and even such important arsenals like the one in Toropets. And I honestly believe that this strategy will continue. It promises to be very successful, just as our strategy to destroy Russian oil refineries. Hopefully no one will start stopping us, because personally I hated when people prevent Ukraine from winning. And I don't like this discourse when we speak about Ukraine not giving up as long as it takes, but we never speak about Ukrainian victory and total defeat of Russia. And that's the only way to end this war, and that's the only way to finally start living on a safer planet. And it's interesting how Russian propaganda is hiding the fact of the explosions in Toropets ammunition depot, and they've reported Ukrainian drone attacks on lots of other regions, but they pretend everything is fine in Toropets. They say air defense stopped Ukrainian drones, and they do not explain and they don't speak about these huge detonations. And come on, everyone saw that. Now we have satellite images, now we have intelligence reports, and it's so Russian. When Shoigu was fired, a new minister of war, as many Ukrainian vloggers name him, or minister of attack, as I prefer to name Belousov, now promised that he will not lie. He said it's okay to make mistakes, but it's not okay to lie, and now he continues to lie because they pretend nothing happened. And actually, guys, I see in this one very interesting thing. When so many people are afraid of escalation and that Russia will react to something bad happening on its territory, remember, when something really bad happens on a Russian territory, they pretend nothing happened. When they want to do something bad to others, they start lying, they start spreading propaganda messages and blaming others for what they want to do. But when literally something bad happens on that territory, like the destruction, and this is the hugest destruction of the hugest ammunition depot so far, they pretend nothing happened. So we can actually continue burning their military objects, and they will continue saying someone smoked. I don't mind. I don't mind. More cigarettes to come. Should we rename drones into cigarettes? But another important fact that I would like to end this video with is that this arsenal was very close to Kursk, and it was actually the one supplying their northern front. Not anymore. By this special military operation, brief special military operation to Toropets of Tver region, we actually secured our situation in Kursk, and the liberation of other Russian territories continues. This is beautiful, and this is another proof why the world should trust Ukraine and let Ukraine strike back. With the permission to use long-range missiles on Russian military objects and similar ammunition depots, we can end this war sooner than you even expect. Please trust Ukraine and please persuade those who doubt to stop being cowards. We need total defeat of Russia. We need Putin in prison. And after that, we can return back to restoring world order, to respecting international agreements and all the stuff that Putin and co violated and mocked for decades already. That's not the way we want to live in the world. We value human life, we value democratic attitudes, we value freedom. These are not just words. Believe me, Ukrainians are fighting for that with their lives every day. And I know that you know that. Subscribe if you're new, join our beautiful community, share the videos that you consider important on the social platforms you are present. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. The links are in the description of this video, but be careful of scammers. I never invite you to chat and I never offer you any lotteries or laptops. Check our merch shop for lots of really good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. The link is also in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, and I will be very happy to meet with you this Saturday, 9 p.m. Kyiv time, for our traditional live. Prepare questions and I will prepare some observations that I consider important. Thank you so much for being with Ukraine. Thank you so much for all the support that I feel, coffees, patrons, and sponsors that make work easier and more confident. And most importantly, thank you that you do all you can to help Ukraine win, and together we will win. Slava Ukraini!